in Israel itself, Benjamin Netanyahu is under pressure and unpopular. The latest poll shows 72% of Israelis want him to resign. So this is not a popular man who walks into the Congress. I also don't think it's smart to go into the cradle of American democracy and tarnish all the protesters against this war as standing with Hamas rapists and murderers. America, of course, has a strong tradition of protests, of freedom of expression, the Vietnam War, the Iraq War. A lot of Americans are opposed to war and a lot are opposed to this one. So I think to go into that cradle of democracy and label them as, you know, standing with rapists and murderers, I think was a bad tone for the Israeli Prime Minister.
And so what do you think he was trying to achieve with this address? Because we saw a difference in how it was received in Congress. Many were staying seated, some were not even turning up as well. We know Nancy Pelosi didn't turn up. We know that some were actually were holding placards while they were there. What was his intention with this speech going into Congress?
Well, America is very divided on this war, as is the Congress. About 80 Democrats from the House didn't turn up, including Kamala Harris, including Nancy Pelosi, as you say. I think his target was particularly the Republicans. We're seeing there now the leader of the House, a Republican, and I think that he's trying to ensure continued funding of the war is his major priority, and I think he realises that there's a difference between the support for the war in the Congress, which is still a majority support, it should be said, versus the support in the broader American population. Something like 50% of Democrat voters in America have said they're opposed to the war. Many use terms like genocide and war crimes, and so I think he's decided that he needs to make that pitch. What he's tried to do is lock the United States and Israel in the same boat against Iran, saying Iran is the enemy.
And he did that by linking security directly with that to the US. Is that going to work? Will that resonate?
With a lot of people in Congress, yes. I mean, there's no doubt. I've just spent time in Iran, in Lebanon. There's no doubt from having been in Iran that Iran's influence Iran is trying to increase its influence through the region, through all of its proxies, Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, the militia in Iraq and Syria. There's no doubt at all that Iran is on the move. And so I think what he's done is said to the Congress, he's more or less said it straight out, that our fight is your fight.
Yes.
Basically that to get to us, to get to you, the United States, they have to get to us, Israel. So he's very much saying we are locked together in this fight.
And now you spoke about the protests just earlier. 5,000 pro-Palestinian demonstrators massed on the streets near the Capitol while he was making his address inside. Just how unprecedented is that there in the Capitol?
Well, compared to the anti-Vietnam, moratoriums, etc., marches, not anything near as big as that, or Iraq. But clearly the Gaza war is making a lot of Americans uncomfortable. They're watching it like they did with the Vietnam War on primetime television. They're also watching a different war from the one Israelis are watching. In Australia and America, we're seeing the constant images after 9 or 10 months of dead and injured Palestinians. How many pictures have we seen of Palestinians carrying their dead children in the white sheets? Israelis aren't seeing those pictures. I've been 4 times now to Israel since October 7. They're seeing a sanitised version. Each night, Israeli television, in the corner of the screen is the Israeli flag just gently fluttering, soldiers in slow motion. They're not seeing dead or injured Palestinians. So in fact, and they're curating their social media to tell them what they want to hear, like most people do. So they are shocked when I ask them about the tens of thousands of women and children that have been killed. They look at you and they say, but it's not that bad. There's been a bit of collateral damage, but it's not that bad. They're not seeing the same war we are seeing.
Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with the President, Joe Biden. He'll also go on to meet Kamala Harris as well as Donald Trump. What do you think he expects to get out of those, and what do the others expect to get out of them as well?
He's hedging his bets. He's made clear when Joe Biden was at the height of his power as president, Benjamin Netanyahu did not listen to him when he said you've got to kill fewer civilians, and your bombing is indiscriminate. Benjamin Netanyahu didn't listen to him then, and I don't think we'll listen to him now, particularly since Joe Biden is now weakened on his way out the door. I think he's going to Mar-a-Lago to see Donald Trump hedging his bets. Donald Trump is on the record, clearly does not like Benjamin Netanyahu as a person, but he's very supportive of Israel. So I think he wants to hedge his bets with both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, knowing one of the two of them is going to be in the White House in January, and he wants to have them on side.